I'll repeat. The question was, what happens to the energy released during cellular respiration? And the answer is, the energy released during cellular respiration is immediately used to synthesize a molecule called ATP, which is used to fuel all other activities in the cell. Full stop. Now you may ask me, what is ATP? What is the full form of ATP? So ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate, that is ATP. So what are the different organisms which exchange oxygen, which you know? Human beings and many other plants take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen, so that is also an exchange of oxygen. So these are the different organisms which you know that require oxygen and or which give oxygen. So since the aerobic respiration pathway depends on oxygen, aerobic organisms need to ensure that there is sufficient intake of oxygen. We have seen that plants exchange gases through the stomata, and the large intercellular spaces ensure that all cells are in contact with air. Carbon dioxide and oxygen are exchanged by diffusion here. They can go into the cells or away from them and out into the air. The direction of diffusion depends upon the environmental conditions and the requirements of the plant. Fine? At night, there is no photosynthesis. Is it possible that there is photosynthesis in the night? No. So at night, there is no photosynthesis, and therefore CO2 elimination is the major exchange activity going on. During the day, CO2 generated during respiration is used up by photosynthesis. हमेशा CO2 से exchange होता ही है ना? All the time CO2 is given out by the plant, but in the daytime it is utilized mostly for what? Photosynthesis. The carbon dioxide present in the plants is used up for photosynthesis. So in the night, what happens? This photosynthesis does not take place. So that's why they say there is a CO2 release at that time. So during the day, CO2 generated during respiration is used up for photosynthesis. Hence, there is no CO2 release. Instead, oxygen release is the major event at that time. Animals have evolved different organs for the uptake of oxygen from the environment and for getting rid of the carbon dioxide produced. Terrestrial animals can breathe the oxygen in the atmosphere, but animals that live in water need to use the oxygen dissolved in water. Since the amount of dissolved oxygen is fairly low compared to the amount of oxygen in the air, the rate of breathing in aquatic organisms is much faster than that seen in terrestrial organisms. Fishes take in water through their mouths and force it past the gills, where the dissolved oxygen is taken up to the blood. Terrestrial organisms use the oxygen in the atmosphere for respiration. This oxygen is absorbed by different organs in different animals. So अभी आपको दो तीन अभी तो पहले हमने first discuss किया है about the plants, that plants exchange gases, that we understood. And how does it do it? What does it do? It utilizes the carbon dioxide during photosynthesis, and that is the major time when oxygen is given out. That's why we get oxygen from the plants, and carbon dioxide is used up in photosynthesis. Secondly, there are the water animals. They will also require, like fishes, they will also require oxygen. How do they do it? In case of fishes, they take water through their mouths and force it past their gills. There where the dissolved oxygen is taken up by the blood. Now, terrestrial organisms like human beings, animals, and all such, what do? They take the oxygen present in the atmosphere जो भी हवा में है, आसपास है, उस एटमॉस्फेयर के एयर को यूज करते हैं, उसमें से ऑक्सीजन को यूज करते हैं. यूज द ऑक्सीजन इन एटमॉस्फेयर फॉर रेस्पिरेशन. This oxygen is absorbed by different organs in different animals. All these organs have a structure that increases the surface area which is in contact with the oxygen rich atmosphere. Since the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide has to take place across this surface is very fine and delicate. In order to protect the surface, it is usually placed within the body. So there have to be passages that will take air to this area. In addition, there is a mechanism for moving the air in and out of this area where the oxygen is absorbed. समझ रहे हो आप लोग? So whenever there is any organism which is on the land will require air or oxygen, it will use it from the atmosphere. But अभी use कैसे करेगा? There will be certain organs in the body of that animal that will absorb the oxygen from the air and it will give out carbon dioxide. So it will be called as exchange of air and carbon dioxide. But ये कैसे होगा? Because of that organ. And वो organ को अगर ये काम करना है तो वैसे thick skin होगा तो चलेगा, उसमें से जा पाएगा नहीं, उतना ही उसको delicate और thin होना पड़ेगा और उतना surface area भी बड़ा होना पड़ेगा जिसमें से बहुत सारा ऑक्सीजन वो एब्जॉर्ब कर सके फ्रॉम द एटमॉस्फेयर. ओके. बट ये पॉसिबल होगा क्या? अगर आउटर एरिया पे होगा तो डैमेज भी हो सकता है. तो इसको सेफ्टी के लिए इट हैज टू बी विद इन द बॉडी, इनसाइड द बॉडी. So you know which is the organ in human beings which takes care of this function? It is the lungs. It is inside the rib cage, inside your body. But अभी वहां तक हवा जानी पड़ेगी, air जाना पड़ेगा. So how it is done? Through the passages. Now which is the passage? Which will be through the nostrils, via the nose, through the nostrils and through the trachea. Okay. What is the first thing which we'll understand over here? Since the exchange is taking place across the surface is inside the body. In human beings, air is taken into the body through the nostrils. The air passing through the nostrils is filtered by the fine hair that line the passage. The passage is also lined with mucus, which helps in this process. जो भी इसमें अगर कुछ पोल्यूशन हो, कुछ मिक्सिंग ऑफ एयर हो, तो अगर उसमें से हमें बचाना है अपने इंटरनल ऑर्गन को, इसलिए उसमें म्यूकस और हेयर होता है, so that all the dirt is stopped and not allowed to enter the nose passage. That is the very important place जहाँ से वो एंट्री ले सकता है हमारे बॉडी के अंदर, कोई भी बैक्टीरिया या कुछ भी. So so that it does not enter inside, we have the nose hair and mucus. So the passage is also lined with mucus which helps in this process. From here the air passes through the throat and then into the lungs. Rings of cartilage are present in the throat. आपको हम डायग्राम कराएंगे अभी, तो जिसमें रिंग्स होंगे of that cartilage. These ensure that the air passage does not collapse. Okay, within the lungs, the passage divides into smaller and smaller tubes, which finally terminate into balloon structures, which are called alveoli. इसके अंदर balloon structures होते हैं, जिनको हम कहते हैं alveoli. Now the alveoli provide a surface where the exchange of gases take place. अभी ये तो काफी सारे डिटेल्स हैं इसके बारे में. Let us draw the diagram as well as we will understand. उसके पहले ये वाला तो समझ में आ गया ना आपको? दो टाइप के respiration है. So this part I can clear and then we will have the next part of this what you can say respiration, that is in the human beings. So please take down the first question. Define respiration. The process of define respiration, and the answer is the process of release of energy, the process of release of energy from the assimilated food is called respiration. है ना? So don't be mistaken about respiration. Okay, it is about breathing and all. What the main definition of respiration is how the assimilated food is used as a in the form of energy. So the process of release of energy from the assimilated food is called as respiration. And how did it take place? The assimilated food, whichever is consumed by the body, is stored in the form of glucose, which is further broken down in the cytoplasm of the cells of the body into pyruvate. And there are three places, ways in which it could be done: in the absence of this oxygen at all, in the lack of oxygen, and presence of oxygen. But there could be a lack of oxygen in the muscle cells. That time it is making lactic acid and energy, and in the presence of oxygen, it is making carbon dioxide, water, and energy. This is how the process of respiration takes place. That is the release of energy from the assimilated food inside the body is called as respiration. Clear to all of you? Now write the next question. What are the two phases of respiration? Number one is breathing or external respiration. So it is only one part of respiration, that is breathing. You're taking in the gas and giving out one gas. That is taking in the oxygen and giving out the carbon dioxide. That is one part of it. What is the second part of it? The second part is internal respiration. Okay. So cellular or external respiration. Sorry, internal respiration is the second one. First one is breathing or external respiration. Second is cellular or internal respiration. Okay. Now define them. Nietzsche could define them. Number one, breathing. Exchange of gases. Exchange of gases in and out of in and out of the body is called breathing. Breathe in, breathe out करते हैं ना? That is exchange of gases in and out of the body is called breathing. Second definition होगा cellular respiration. It takes place. It takes place in the. It takes place in the mitochondria. Spelling इधर है. In the mitochondria of the cell of the cells to release energy to release energy in the form of in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate.